Hello, friends, Romans, and also countrymen, and welcome to the exploration of the Minecraft Snapshot 13 something 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 B. I don't remember the name, but it'll be in the video title, so you'll know. Just look up. Anyway, we're taking a look at the snapshot, so let's get into our handy-dandy little white box that apparently I can't get through the door of. And look, we're being transported through time and space. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. We weren't actually being transported through time and space. We were just standing on this beacon. So, this is a little teleporter that's part of... That was the sound of my neck turning all the way around. Red Lab. So this is a building that I have built to demonstrate the new Redstone updates. It is not finished, and will not be finished for a little while because I'm adding quite a few Redstone example machinery things in here that are just cool, to kind of show off all the cool stuff you can do. Now, Red Lab will become available for download at some point in the future, but for right now, it's still being worked on, and thus cannot be shenanigans with, and I don't know what that word was, but yeah, I built a little fake teleporter here with beacons because I really like the beacon effect. Looks like you're traveling through space and time. Anyway, onward into Red Lab. It's a cool effect. I love the door effect here. Anyway, so first let's take a look at the blue room of Red Lab, and then we'll go to the red room of Red Lab. As you can see, not finished. This wall will be moving back as more things get added in, but as of currently, there are not... Well, there actually is a secret thing behind this wall that I'll show you, but for right now, the wall stays put. So first let's head in here, because this needs to be revisited. Also, take note of how fast these piston doors open. Pretty fast. And I will get to that later, but that is important. Okay. So, this is a day-night sensor. This is something they added in the update. I'm not going to be telling you how to craft these things or do anything with them in single-player, or not single-player, but survival, because that's not really the focus of this series. So, that is a day-night sensor hanging out in there. I'll just double jump so I can actually fly, instead of jumping up and down. So, this is sort of a strange clock of sorts. The way this works, the way you read it, is this middle point here, as I've marked with the red wool, is morning or evening. So if this is going up, then this, when it hits here, it is morning. So if it's going up from here, from night, then this will be morning. And then once it hits midday, which it is currently midday, so this is basically 12, finger quotes, 12 in Minecraft time. Now, you will start to see that these lights are slowly going down until this hits here, which will mean that it's evening until into night. So, this basically is a good way to figure out how close it is to night. So it gives you a sense of how long the days are. Unfortunately, because of the way this works, no signal is sent out at night, which is kind of... is a little bit of an issue. I'm working on a workaround for it because there is something interesting I would like to do with this, which I'll reveal later once a new segment of Red Lab gets added over there. But anyway, let's explain how this works. So, this is receiving sunlight right now. This will not work with torches or anything. This is receiving sunlight, and it outputs a redstone signal. And this update is very heavily focused on the power of the signal. So, the signal, as you know in Redstone, decays after 15... Well, completely decays after 15 blocks of redstone. So, the way this works is that at midday, this is outputting 15 blocks of redstone worth of power. So, it finally finishes decaying right here. But, as it starts in the night and goes up into midday, it outputs less of a signal. So, for example, if I set this to Oh, I'll even just use the command up there. Setting the time to 0, which is the beginning of the day. Oh, come on. Oh. Here. For some reason, it's not letting me access that command. 0. You see, this is the beginning of the day. So it is outputting a signal that is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks long. And you can see it's going up as this gets past morning. So if I set it to, for example, 12,000. Oh, whoops. It's actually 15,000, I think, is what I wanted. 15,000. Oh, it's all the way night. I am just hitting all the wrong numbers. Time set 14,000. Nope. Well, we can narrow it down. Time. Let's just time set 13,000. Ah, there we are. So we are at sunset right now. The sun is setting as we speak. You can see it is only putting a redstone outputting a redstone signal that is too long. Now it is only 1, and as this hits fully night, the whole thing will go out. So it is a lovely day-night sensor. And things will be coming with this once I figure out a good way to mess with the signal strength when it is currently night. Because as of currently, it outputs no redstone signal at night. And there is the possibility here. So I'll just grab one of these, grab the glass, grab some redstone, and a block, and a torch, I think is what I need. Yeah. So, in theory, what you could do is have it on a block here. So you've got, let's just set this to 0. So it is here. It's outputting a redstone signal like this. And then it is, oh, I suppose it doesn't actually do that. It doesn't emit hard power. Okay. In that case, let's take one of these. I'll get to the comparator in a second. So you could, in theory, do this, meaning that a light will turn on. You're inverting the signal out of this, meaning a light will turn on at daytime, at nighttime. When it turns to nighttime, this light will turn on. So if I set, here, I'll just use one of these previous commands. If I set it to night, then this turns on. So that's cool because you can basically make it so that lights will turn on when it hits nighttime, which is a very, very convenient thing. So you don't have to have your lights on all the time. Very cool, but as of currently, there's no way to, like during daytime, have a constantly changing length of redstone output. It will always be 15 blocks and it will never change from the torch. So unfortunately, there is no way to create, no way that I've figured out yet to create a clock that works all day, but I'm working on it. Alright, that is the blue room for you. Jump. And we are now heading to the red room, which has got quite a bit of stuff, and also it sounds like bats, which may be somewhere else. So, this has got quite a bit of stuff, but let us start with, well, what do we want to... Let's start with chests. Alright. As you can see, chests. 2 wide chests next to each other. Let me set the time to 0. Look at that. Notice this chest looks a little bit different than this chest. This is because it's a trapped chest, where this is a chest. Now, a trapped chest is pretty freaking cool, because what it does is when you open the chest, it emits a redstone signal. Meaning that you can set it to, like, you know, blow up some dynamite or open a door when you open the chest. But what it also means is that you can, because it is a different ID from a chest, you can put it right next to another, well, you can put a trap chest right next to a regular chest, which means you can have storage like this. Floor to ceiling, walls of chests, and you never have to worry about it. And one of the best things that they added just recently. When you're holding shift and you click on, say, something you would not normally be able to place a block on, like for example, if I take this block here, when I hit this, it'll just open the chest. But if I'm holding shift, it'll place the block. Which, what this means is you can now place signs on top of chests, identifying what they are, which means you can just have rows and floors of all these chests with different items. So say we want this to be stone, and say we want this one to be cobble, tools. We can have all of these identifiers of what each chest is and able to open them, which means storage can be incredibly compact. And you can do the same on the walls. Say we want this to be redstone. There you go. Now this chest, actually, I realize these top ones can't open because of these blocks here. I'd have to take these out, actually, I realize. I forgot about that when I was building this, but I'd have to take all of these out. Now, actually, something interesting I'd like to point out. You can open chests when there's glass on top. So, broken glass block there. If I were to fill, if I were to fill this whole area with glass, you could still have solid blocks in here, just for continuity of building. But you'd be able to open the chests, even with a floor on top. So that's pretty neat. That is a definitely cool feature of this update. Alright, on to the next piece. We're going to go with this. I'm going to send this back for now. So, this is a little machine using hoppers. Now, what a hopper does is it takes items that are put into it, whether from a... here, I'll break the glass and get one. I'm just breaking all my glass here. Whoops. Boop. Alright, so... if we, for example, put a hopper up here and throw our block of glass into it, if we can, it will get sucked into the hopper and it'll be held in the hopper. Now, as you can see, there are 2 blocks of glass. There's currently a glitch where items get duplicated. That is a problem in this update that I hope will get fixed, because I'm a very traditional guy and I don't like glitches breaking my game. Especially because I like playing single player and I like playing it hardcore, and I liked playing it alpha when it was fucking hard and difficult and enjoyable. Still enjoyable, just less hard. Anyway, so the idea is that you can actually pull items out of a chest. And you can drop them into a chest. But what you can also do is drop them into storage minecarts. So, what I have here is a stack of storage minecarts, and I'll show you the redstone for this later. Stack of storage minecarts, and I've got one sitting right here next to a, well, what I've got is actually a little platform that's holding the bottom one up. And I've got a monostable circuit that pulses on just long enough. Excuse me. So the circuit pulses on just long enough to open up this little floor, just long enough to drop one cart through, which then it rolls into here underneath this hopper. So what I can do, say I want to fill it with sandstone. We put our sandstone into this chest, it'll all filter out into the hopper. So then, we drop one minecart through, it goes underneath, and that minecart will fill with the sandstone. So if we go through here, so you can see all the redstone, what we've got is, here's our tube of, get up here. Here is our tube of minecarts, stacked all up. And then what we've got is we have this little area where this minecart has filled with our sandstone. And then when I press this button over here, it'll send that cart off, up this little track, and back onto the top of the stack. And then when I press this button, Here you can see the monostable circuit. We'll send a pulse out to this piston, which opens just long enough to drop it onto this track and repeat the process. Now this is a really cool system, and you can set it up so you'll actually have a viewing, well, you basically have a viewing piece here where you can access this minecart. So in theory, you could go like this and cycle these minecarts through, doing these kind of shenanigans. Drop this one. I don't actually remember how many minecarts are in here, so we'll have to find out. So it looks like it'll probably be, yeah, that next one. So once we drop this one through and back, so you'd have to cycle all the way through at this point to get back to your cobblestone, or sorry, your sandstone. But what you can do is set up a more elegant system for viewing all of your carts. This is just a very compact one to fit into a small space to demonstrate this concept. So, actually I'm going to keep these. Going over here, we've got a cool demonstration of what you can do with using hoppers to transport items, as well as a cool little machine that will always leave a certain amount of items in a hopper. So, what you can do is put all of these items, and you'll see they'll start disappearing very quickly, and they'll be going into this hopper below it. That hopper, as you can see, the bottom of it is pointing in a direction. When you place a hopper, this is actually going to, oh, it's not going to start filling. When you place a hopper against something, that hopper will be going that direction. Now, this is some strange shenanery that's happening right now, and I'll explain why. But what's going on is that each hopper is moving it to the next hopper. So all of these items have been transported this direction to this hopper here. And you'll see we've got our sandstone in this chest here. Now what we have set up here is when a hopper is filled with a certain amount of items, it'll output a certain amount of redstone signal. So right here, this is indicating how full the hopper is. Right now, it's not actually half full. This is just indicating that it has a certain number of items in it. But what this does is when this hopper is full, a certain number of items full, it will send out a redstone signal to this piston, which pushes up the minecart, and it keeps pushing it up because it keeps filling and sending out a new redstone signal. I still haven't worked out a really clean way for it to just push it up here. And it's using a capacitor, or not a capacitor, that's a real thing, a comparator, which I will show in a second. But what it does is sends out a signal, pushes up the minecart enough to take the items out of it, and when that minecart, or when there are enough items gone from it, the minecart will fall back down because the piston contracts, and it's actually enough on this hopper that it'll transport the items down into this chest. So let's take just a butt ton of sandstone here, just to demonstrate the process. Let's fly back over here, and let's put it all in. Alright, so this is going to start rapidly disappearing, and you'll see this hopper is starting to fill, and I'm going to put these 42 in here. So it's starting to fill. Now, because there's enough items in here, and it's like stably enough items, it's filling rather quickly, so it's going to stay up here. Now, what it's using right now is a capacitor, and a capacitor is like or not a capacitor, I keep calling it a capacitor, but it's a real thing. A capacitor is not what I'm talking about. A comparator. A comparator is basically a bit of redstone that looks quite like a repeater that compares the strength of two redstone signals. So, for example, say I have power going through here, and we want power coming out here. So we've got power going through, that's great. But if this signal going into either side of the comparator trumps the strength, and because this is two blocks of redstone long, it trumps this 3, because this 3 is technically not as strong, even though it doesn't look different. It trumps it, and thus turns off this redstone signal. So this is cool for locks and that kind of thing. But another cool feature of it, which actually has to do with these piston doors, is now in the first part of this update, these were actually instant, and it's too bad that they changed it, and I hope they change it back, because when these were instant, you can see that there's very little delay. That's about half a tick of delay for them to turn on in sequence. But you can tell there is just a fraction of a delay. So what it used to mean when they were instant is that this would be instant wire. As soon as I turned on this redstone would turn on. Now there is half tick delay, so it is slightly slower. But what it does mean is that these doors, instead of using repeaters, which are at minimum 1 tick, these are half tick doors, which means a half tick after you step on these pressure plates, the doors open. Which means that no more running into the door when you walk up to it. It's only when you run up to the door will you actually run into the door before it opens, and just barely. So the doors are very fast, which means that you can make stuff that goes very, very fast. Very, very fast. It is almost instant. So that's a cool little addition. I'm using it here because there's no need for a delay. And as you can see, it's filled right up, and it's down to 42 items. Alright, so now that we've covered this, we've covered hoppers, and we've covered comparators, not capacitors, I'm going to show you a little secret thing behind the wall. Ignore the fact that this is all open. Hasn't been finished yet. And this room hasn't been colored yet. Let's give it a color. Let's make it the yellow room. Sure. Yellow will work. Oh, you're seeing the redstone. Oh, no. Alright. This is now the yellow room. Alright. Let's use let's use yellow. Well, it doesn't really matter. Oh my gosh, my clicking is just not adequate today. And set the time to 0. Alright. Kajump. Kajump. Let's close this. So, this is, a bat. I hate bats. Bats are, I was like, oh, bats are kind of cool when they first added them. And now I just despise bats. They're the most annoying fucking things. Ha, fuck you. Yeah, I just hate the addition of bats. They ruin everything. So, this is a demonstration of what are known as weighted pressure plates. Now, when you step on a weighted pressure plate, you don't actually activate the pressure plate. You can't do anything with them. But what a weighted pressure plate does is it measures the amount of items on the plate. Now, there are two kinds. There is a light weighted pressure plate and a heavy weighted pressure plate. And I'll show you both of those with this setup. And I've also labeled how many items it is, and I have little lights here to demonstrate how far along it is. Because the length of the redstone signal is dictated by how many items are on here. So let's throw 1 on. You see this first light lights up. Let's throw... Whoop, didn't get that one on quite on there. So let's throw up to 5. Now this item is lit up. So now we go to 9. Now this counting system doesn't quite make sense because there are some errors in it. For one, I think it should have started at 4. So you just, because it goes by 4s right now, which I think is bad in its own. But it's weird that it starts with 1 and then goes to 5, because I mean that's fine. But it's weird that it starts with 1 as opposed to starting with 4 if they're counting by 4s. Also, I think they should just count by 5s. Anyway, but it is weird because look at the numbers: 1, 5, 9, okay, that's fine. 13, that's right. 18. 13 plus 4 is 17. It takes 5 items to get it to advance here. Then it's back to 4, 4, 4, and then 5 again. And this is very strange because it makes these hard to use reliably because you don't have an even... It doesn't change every even number of blocks that you add. So here we add 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't go. And then we add a 5th. And suddenly it goes. Now, let me just collect these items. I'm going to show you the heavy one. This is not applicable to the heavy pressure plate. Now this starts at 1, but when you put 2 on, whoops, 3, 4. When it's at 5, doesn't go to this next one. This one relies on, I believe it's something like half a stack or so. Well, we can measure. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. So somewhere around 42, I think. I think it's 42, actually. Somewhere around 42 or 44 items does it go to the second one. It's actually probably 43. So this measures kind of in the scale of stacks as opposed to single items. So this is good because you can basically have an equivalent like measuring system, or you can figure out like, you know, okay, this many. Like you can basically have a trading system to value different items. So that's cool. Every item has the same weight, but it is cool that you can basically figure out exactly how many items somebody has put, or approximately. In most cases. With this, it's more approximately than the light pressure plate. But you can figure out approximately how many items somebody has put on the pressure plate. So this is very cool. This is a very cool system. And there's a lot of cool stuff that can be and will be done with this when it is more... when things are more advanced. When people have figured out more stuff for these kind of things, for these new Redstone shenanigans. So yeah, this has been the first episode of the Red Lab edition of Redstone Recipes with Splice. So taking a look at the new update stuff, there will definitely be more of such things in the near future. And we will be looking at some new and interesting machinery that we can build with these new updated things, especially with comparators and with hoppers, because there's a lot of potential with those. So, without further ado, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'd like you to go and check out our website, namelesspixel.net. We upload usually a video every weekday. Sometimes we have issues, but we like to try to make a habit of uploading a video every weekday. Also, check out our YouTube, namelesspixel.youtube. That's not how it goes. It's youtube.com/namelesspixel. And our website is namelesspixel.net. Yeah, go to our YouTube and subscribe and leave a comment on this video saying something. I don't know. That's what people ask for, right? And rate the video and like the video, because I'm a shameless whore, and because it helps us out, actually. It does really help us out, because one, it helps us be seen, and two, it helps us know whether you like the videos or not. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good day, and also, actually, I do have an idea of stuff you can comment about. If there are specific things that you want explained that you don't understand about this update, leave them in the comments, and I'll see if I can do my best to explain those and try to clear up any questions you might have about the update that I can explain. Also, there's a weird optical illusion if you look at that corner correctly. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.